Hi, everybody. I wanted to do a second video on adding integers because it's so incredibly important. Because if this doesn't go well, then you're going to be struggling with integers in every section that we do, in solving equations and quadratic formula and factoring and everything. So it's really important that you get these rules down, and there's not that many, but it just requires enough practice to internalize it. So a number of things that I would suggest. Number one, make yourself a nice formula sheet. Now you can't really see in this, my light's a little ugly right now, but I made this on bright yellow paper. And what my plan is that all the stuff I need to know about integers is going to be on this one page. And this one page is going to go in my binder. And it's going to be in a nice little plastic sleeve, so it's easy to find. And then later on in the year, I'm doing something and I'm like, oh, what are the rules? I don't have to go digging through my books and trying to find everything. It's right here in one spot. And when I do these formula sheets, and I'm going to try and do them for every section for us, is I put the rules and then I throw a couple of examples. So for adding, there's basically two different rules. And all you have to do is check whether the signs are the same or not. And as I'm looking at this, I'm like, wow, probably could have made that look a little prettier or typed it or something. I'm sure you can do a better job than I do. All right, so the rules are, if the signs are the same, you're going to add and use the sign of the bigger number. So number one, the rule. And then secondly, on this formula sheet, I always put some examples, because a lot of the time I look at the rule and like 2 months later, I'm like, I don't even understand what that means. And actually, hold on, that looks fuzzy to me. Oh, there it is. So I threw some examples there. Okay. And I also, whoops, put the little T-charts that I've been using. So when you're adding integers, you can start off using bingo chips until you remember, and then you can use the T-charts, and eventually you should get to the part where you just know what's going to happen. I'm not telling you not to use your calculator, but what I really, really want, and what is really important to me, is that you know what your answer should be like. So if I'm adding two numbers, or sorry, adding two integers with the same sign, I know my answer is going to be bigger and it's going to have the same sign. So if I accidentally punch it into my calculator wrong, I can look at the answer and go, no, that's not right. I don't know what the real answer is, but I know that's not it. So for example, if I did -5 and -7, and I'm going to add those, and I got like -2 out of it or +2, it's like, I punched it in wrong. Something's wrong. So, sorry, a little off topic there. So if the signs are the same, you're going to add them, use the sign of the bigger number. These are always work in progress, so I've got to add stuff to it. If the signs are different, I'm going to subtract and use the sign of the bigger number. And I did the same thing here, and I went through a bunch of examples, and I even showed here a different way of showing the T method, where I literally wrote out 10 little positives, 4 little negatives, and then the ones that are circled are the ones that are canceled off. So there's multiple ways of seeing this and multiple ways of getting it figured out. Whatever works for you is awesome. And that's what I need you to do. Okay. For today, though, I don't want to mess around with this. What I made, and it took me all of a minute, is I made a little flashcard, love index cards, on just addition of integers. Because I know the assignment I'm working with only has this. So it's basically the same as this, but I didn't put the examples there. These are cool because you know what, if you had, I don't know, a different card for adding and then multiplication and division and subtraction, you can just pull it out, boom, I know exactly what rules I'm going to have. And eventually, you won't need the cards anymore. because you'll have done so much practice, you'll internalize, and you know what it's supposed to be like. And you'll be able to figure it out. But these are always just kind of a nice, to me, they're like a security blanket. It's like a formula sheet on a test. You should put the formulas on. You may never, ever, ever use it during the test, but it's there in case it happens, in case you do need it. Okay, so now this is the plan. What are we going to do? Excuse me. So with this section on integers, I gave you a handout. It's got a lot of questions on it. And what I did is I started out with some super simple ones where the signs are both positives. And then, so let's just do a couple. If you don't have a copy of this, you could pause the video right now, write down the questions and do them. At any time, if you're feeling like, yeah, I think I got this, you should pause the video, do a bunch of questions, and then either check the answer key, or probably checking the answer key is going to be faster. And if you get them all right, cool, go on to the next section. If you're not, then boop, run the video again and see what went wrong. All right, so here we go. Just a quick reminder, sum means to add, but I mean, you can figure that out from there. I know my rules, but sometimes, hold on, when you're having a bad day, or you know what, if you're stressed, because I know when you're stressed, your mind goes on a holiday or something. Now, don't be insulted by this. There's a reason, because I want you to remember the rules so that when you do get stressed, it's super easy to bring it back. Oops, I gotta move it so you can see them all. All right. So there's 3 pink ones. So pink in my world are the positives. And then we have 6 pink ones, and that's a grand total of 9 pink ones. Or if the signs are the same, okay, these are both positives. In math, we're lazy. Technically, there's teeny tiny positive signs there, but nobody writes them. You don't bother writing them. Yeah, generally you just don't, unless like this section, I am trying to make a point. Okay, so that's going to be 9. Ta-da. We can put the plus, you cannot put the plus. But ta-da. And I'm not even 100% sure why I bothered putting so many examples here, because we all know how to add. Okay, so 5 and 3 is going to be 8. That's 9. It's 41. And then I have no clue. So I'm not too proud to use my calculator. 3.4 plus 40.3 plus 49.2, because I can't do that in my head. 92.9. All right. Ta-da! There we go. Pause the video, do these. I'm sure you're going to get them all right. So this is a reminder, and this is just the application. The signs are the same. They're both positives. We're going to add and use the sign of the bigger number. So if you add 2, if you add some pink ones and some more pink ones, you're going to have pink, you're going to have more positives. Okay, and everybody gets this rule. But it's when we skip down to this one, which is where we're adding 2 negatives, that some people start to get a little uncomfortable. And here's what. I think at some point we all heard, probably our teacher or somebody tells it, 2 negatives make a positive. And that was internalized because you knew that and you understood that. But they forgot to say that only works in multiplication or division. It doesn't work when you're doing addition and subtraction, or addition. We're just doing addition today. Okay, so to help you remember, because I think if you remember the deep down stuff, the real basics, there's not that many rules. So I'm using blue to represent my negatives. Oh, that's only 4. Oops. Sorry. All right, there we got 7. And then not surprisingly, we're gonna add 1 more. All right, what do you have? See, there should be nothing in your brain that says, hey, that's +8. No, I had some blue chips. I added more blue chips. It's not gonna magically turn pink. It's still gonna be negatives. Okay, so -7 plus -1 is gonna give me -8. And this still fits our rules. It says if the signs are, whoopsies, if the signs are the same, we add. Done. Okay. -1 plus -1. My signs are the same, so I'm going to add these 2 numbers. So 1 plus 1 is 2, and take the sign of the bigger one. Another way to do this, oh, okay, because I have them sitting here, 3 negatives and 4 negatives, make a grand total of, you know it, -7. Now, I'm not sure you want to pull out the bingo chips in the middle of a math exam, but frankly, you know what? If you want to, and you say, and you're thinking, Joanne, I would just be so much happier if I could have my little bingo chips when I'm writing my math exam, ask, I'm there. That's fine with me. If that's what we need. Another way to do it though, is using the T-chart. And there's a couple of ways we can do that. One is really straightforward. All right, so I got 3 negatives, so 1, 2, 3. And then I have I'm adding -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can see they are all on the negative side. And there happens to be 7 little dots, 7 lines, boom, there we go. I hope you're with me. All right, so -3 plus -3. My signs are the same. I'm gonna add, so that gives me 6, and take the sign of the bigger. 8 and -3. Get signs at -8 plus -3. Sorry, I should say that correctly. -8 plus -3 is going to be the signs of my same, so I'm going to add them up, and it's going to be a negative, just like that. Now here we've got 3 numbers, but they're all negative, so the rule still applies. So 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 5 is going to be 14, and it's still going to be negative. If you wanted to, you can do this, and this is my lazy version. -8, -1, -5. And that just reminds me, by sorting it like that, that they're all negative. They're all, if I wanted to, represented by blue chips, and you would just add them up. Ta-da. Okay, so I would like you to pause the video and do the questions on the other side. All right, so I hope you did the rest of that this side. Answers are in the back. Always check your work. If you're feeling good about it, maybe check 3, 4, 5 questions. If you're struggling, check every question, because the last thing you want to do is to do a whole bunch wrong, because then your brain will, get stressed out and it says that's the only way to do it. Well, anyway, you get it. Okay, now we're going to flip to the next page, which is where it gets fun. Oops, up. Okay, so now we're at the point where we're adding integers that don't have the same sign. So here comes the rule. If the signs are different, we're going to subtract the numbers and use the sign of the bigger one. That's the rule. You can internalize that however you want, because I'm going to start with my bingo chips. I need 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoops. I guess we'll do it this way. There's my 8 positives. Now I need 4 negatives. So this is a part where, to me, it kind of goes against what your brain thinks. Because my brain says, if I'm adding, my numbers get bigger, and I don't really pay attention. And that's what happened when we added positive numbers or we added negative numbers. It just got bigger and they stayed the same. Okay, however, now we're adding positives and negatives. And the thing you have to remember is that positive, when you put it together, sorry, I did that backwards. When you put a positive and a negative together, they make 0. And then we can just, they disappear. Because adding 0 to anything just doesn't do anything. I'm sorry, that was a terrible statement. Adding 0 to something does not change its value. So basically, these ones just cancel out. So each one of those is going to disappear because they go to 0. And we're left with plus 4. Ta-da. If you think money, honestly, with a lot of this, if you think money, it'll probably work for you. This is like having $8 and spending 4. You have 4 left. Ta-da. There we go. All right, let's do the next one. I'm going to do one more with bingo chips. I think I'm going to regret because I just thought it had 12. All right, so there's minus 4. And now I need, there's 4. Eight, make it nice. I need 12, so I need some more. Another way to think of this is, all right, I got 4 and 12. I'm not going to get 16 out of anything. It's not 16 pink. It's not 16 blue. We're going to have, some of them are going to cancel out. So every pair of a pink and a blue cancels to 0. And away we go. And we are left with 8 left. There we go. Probably say this an awful lot in these videos. You don't need the positive there, but because we're doing the integers, I tend to write that. Oh goodness, these are all mixed up. That's okay. I was actually doing some research lately, and they said it's better to mix up the stuff when you practice rather than having just one type and getting good at it all the time, because what it does is it forces your brain to think all the time, not just automatically, oh, subtract, take the sign of the bigger. No, I have to pay attention and figure out what's going on here. So that's enough with the chippies. Okay, so now I have a negative plus another negative, and that's why your handy dandy card is here. If the signs are the same, I'm going to add. So 11 and 11 is 22, but it remains negative. I take the sign of the bigger one. Oh, here we've got the signs are different. I'm going to show you how to use that T method. And you can use the T method as long as you need to or as long as you want to. I would think maybe on a test, if I was having a bad day, I might have to do this for 1 or 2 questions. And then my brain would start to pick up what the pattern was again and go, oh yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. I stopped because I just realized I could have been lazy and picked smaller numbers, but that's okay. Okay, so I got 9 positives, 10 negatives. And if you use the T method, I don't know, T chart, whatever you want to call it, what you do is you circle each pair. And these, I guess, are going to be the ones that cancel off, just like when I took that and made it to that, and it's gone. All right, after all that work, there's my leftover. That's what I care about. So my answer is going to be -1. Or use the rule. The signs are different. Remember, that's a plus. So then we subtract and take the sign of the bigger. All right, my signs are different. So I'm going to just go 12 minus 5, which is 7. And do that. I always love these questions because it just seems to mess up students. Signs are different though. My answer is going to be 0. Okay, so notice this is different than this one up here. When they both had the same sign, we add. When the signs are different, we subtract. Again, think about money. $9 and we spend $9. Well, nothing's left in the bank. All right, so -3 and +3. Oh, that's kind of like just the opposite of that. My signs are different. I'm going to subtract. So 3 minus 3 is 0. Oh, here we go. -1 plus -6. Signs same or different? I'll be Dora the Explorer. Signs are different? Oh, I guess I'd have to say it in Spanish. Signs are the same, so we're going to add. So that's going to give me 7. And I definitely need the negative there. Oh, you know what? You should turn off the video. And how about you do the rest of this side? I bet you can handle it, no worries. All right, I'm going to trust that you did that, because if all you do is watch me do stuff and don't try it on your own, it would like, I don't know, watching, I'm going to date myself here, watching Wayne Gretzky on TV, and this is how I'm going to learn how to skate and become a professional hockey player. That's not going to work. You got to put in the work. There's a meme somewhere that says math is not a spectator sport, and I think I'm going to blow it up and put it in my classroom. You got to practice. And you got to try, and if you screw up, that's okay. But practice makes permanent. All right, there's my little rant for this video. All right, signs are different. I'm just going to subtract, and away we go. -7 plus, where's my camera? Sorry, let's do that. Oops, there. -7 plus 5, signs are different, so that's 2. Sign of the bigger. Oh, these are both negatives, so I'm going to add sign of the bigger. I keep saying that, right? Sign of the bigger number, sign of the bigger number, sign of the bigger number. I guess I was never pointing out bigger number. 1 plus -7. Those are different. So that's going to give me 6. Sign of the bigger one. And 9 plus 2. Sorry, -9 plus 2. Signs are different. I'm going to subtract. Take the sign of the bigger one. All right. So I'm hoping that should get you well on your way to solving these types of equations. Nope, that'll do. That will do. What I'd suggest is you might want to do this row. Okay. On your own, make sure you're getting it all right. If you are, splendid. If you're not, come see me and we can work this out. And I can't emphasize enough how important integers are, because they're in the formulas all year long, and I don't want you to struggle. All right, have a spectacular day. Bye.